The expanse was still vast, still full of mysteries, but he had proven something essential. Humans were more than capable of shaping their destiny. 8 credits, Kai whispered, smiling. Who would have thought? The ship hummed beneath him, alive and proud, a partner in this remarkable adventure. Humanity had risen, not through domination, but through ingenuity and spirit. And as the expanse stretched endlessly ahead, Kai knew the galaxy had just begun to realize the true potential of humans. For Kai Ren, the adventure was far from over. But one thing was certain. Humanity had awakened, and no force in the galaxy would ever underestimate them again. That's why humans win. Cheering erupted across comm channels. The ragtag fleet felt empowered, inspired by Kai's leadership and the ship's unmatched capabilities. Vera pulsed softly. Remember, Kai, leadership is not just about strength. It is about inspiring others to rise to their potential. Then, let's show them what humans can do. The final engagement began near a dense asteroid field. Kai's ship led the fleet, weaving through debris, using energy pulses to mimic false positions. Alien vessels fired relentlessly, but the humans anticipated and countered every move. Kai activated the ship's hidden plasma turrets, long-forgotten weapons designed for massive fleet battles. They unleashed devastating waves of energy, disabling multiple alien vessels at once. Meanwhile, the fleet executed coordinated maneuvers, exploiting every advantage the terrain offered. For the first time, the aliens hesitated. Their calculations did not account for humans' unpredictable thinking, improvisation, and relentless courage. Kai pressed forward, targeting the alien fleet's central command vessel. Using the ship's energy redirection shields, he absorbed its attacks, then unleashed a precise gravity pulse that immobilized the ship temporarily. Human pilots swarmed, disabling systems and forcing a retreat. The alien fleet withdrew completely, leaving Kai and his fleet victorious. Humans had not only survived, they had triumphed. In the aftermath, colonies celebrated Kai and the $8 ship. Engineers began replicating some of the salvaged alien technologies. Pilots trained in new tactics inspired by Kai's ingenuity. And Vera, ever the guide, reminded Kai of the lessons learned. You have demonstrated what humans can achieve, the AI said, not because of weapons or numbers, but because of intelligence, courage, and creativity. These traits define your species. They were clever, resourceful, and capable of thinking in ways the aliens had not anticipated. After the battle, Kai gathered his fleet in orbit around a nearby star. Communication channels buzzed with relief and excitement. Colonists, engineers, and pilots celebrated their survival. But Kai knew this was only the beginning. Vera, he said, we showed them humans can fight back, but they'll learn fast. They'll come again, dog God. Yes, Vera replied. And when they do, humans must be ready not just to survive, but to lead. You have inspired them. Now, it is time to consolidate and prepare for what comes next. Kai nodded. He began planning expeditions to explore the Xylan expanse fully. There were alien constructs, hidden outposts, and perhaps even technology that could elevate human civilization. If humanity could harness this knowledge, they would never be so easily threatened again. In the following weeks, Kai and his fleet conducted daring missions, retrieving alien data cores from derelict vessels, navigating hazardous energy fields to chart new hyperspace routes, rescuing isolated colonies from alien patrols using clever ambushes. Each mission reinforced a single truth. Human ingenuity, courage, and adaptability could rival technology superior to their own. And everywhere they went, stories spread. Kai's ship, the $8 armored vessel, became a symbol of hope, a legend whispered among colonies. The ship bought for 8 credits that outwitted an alien fleet. The main body of the alien intelligence had gathered, observing his fleet. The Xylan had adapted. They were no longer testing, they were preparing for decisive action. Kai addressed his fleet. Listen up, we're outnumbered, outgunned, and we have one ship that everyone says is ancient junk. But we also have something they don't. Brains, courage, and the ability to think differently. The colony's inhabitants panicked, but Kai arrived in the massive ship, leading the small human fleet. The aliens fired first, energy pulses so intense that they vaporized the asteroid belts nearby. Kai activated the plasma shields, absorbing the attacks, then redirected the energy into a nearby asteroid cluster, sending massive rocks tumbling toward the alien vessels. "Vyra! They'll have to adapt!" Kai shouted, exhilarated. "Let's see what humans can do." Using the ship's cloaking capabilities, Kai moved undetected among the alien vessels, planting gravity mines that created massive spatial distortions. The human fleet, inspired by his bold maneuvers, followed suit, using the environment to offset their disadvantage. It was chaos. Energy pulses collided with asteroids, debris tore through alien ships, and the humans, once thought weak, were now outmaneuvering the superior technology. Kai laughed. "They thought we were easy prey." "They were wrong, Carly. They are learning, Kai. But so are we. Humanity survives through adaptability, and you have proven that adaptability is powerful." The battle raged for hours. The alien fleet attempted to overwhelm Kai's ship, sending multiple vessels to corner him. But he anticipated every move, relying on ingenuity rather than brute force. He activated energy redirection channels, creating fields that reflected alien attacks back at their own ships. He used gravity pulses to trap them in collapsing asteroid fields. Meanwhile, human pilots coordinated improvised tactics. Old cargo vessels fired makeshift missiles, mining drones disrupted sensors, and engineers aboard the fleet hacked energy nodes to create temporary shields. Every human action was amplified by Kai's leadership and the ship's systems. By the time the alien fleet began to retreat, Kai had done more than survive. He had proven a point. Humans were not to be underestimated. Kai exhaled slowly, feeling the weight of the moment. The expanse had been a proving ground, a place to test his skills and the ship's hidden capabilities. But now the stakes had escalated. The aliens were no longer observing. They were acting, and the survival of humans scattered across the outer colonies might depend on what he did next. "I didn't buy this ship to hide," Kai said, voice firm. "Let's remind the galaxy what humans are capable of." Vyra pulsed. "Agreed. Humans survive through ingenuity, unpredictability, and courage. All traits you have demonstrated." Kai quickly devised a strategy. The ship's energy redirection, shields, gravity pulse generator, and stealth modules were extraordinary, but they were designed for one vessel, not a fleet. He needed allies. He reached out to scattered human colonies on the fringe of controlled space. Many were small, isolated, and unprepared for conflict. He transmitted a simple but bold message: prepare. Humanity is not weak. Join me. Responses were slow at first, then more frequent. Colonists, engineers, and retired pilots offered assistance. Within days, Kai had assembled a ragtag fleet. Outdated frigates, old cargo vessels retrofitted with weapons, and small civilian ships armed with improvised defenses. They were no match for the alien fleet in raw firepower, but they had something stronger: human creativity and determination. "They're counting on me, and on this ship." "This ship is a symbol," the AI replied. "Symbols inspire courage, and courage inspires action. You will lead not just with strength, but with example." He had never felt more alive. The first engagement came sooner than expected. The alien fleet descended on a human colony near the edge of the expanse. Its automated systems began scanning and disabling installations, testing the defenses. Kai laughed as the aliens fired repeatedly, only to have their attacks nullified by the ship's shields. Each move he made demonstrated ingenuity, daring, and instinct, the very qualities that had made humans feared, even if the galaxy had forgotten. After a tense hour of cat and mouse, Kai found an opening. He activated the ship's gravity pulse generator, sending the nearby asteroids tumbling into the alien formation. The aliens were forced to retreat, damaged and cautious, as Kai's ship slipped through the expanse like a ghost. He exhaled. Adrenaline pumping. "We did it, Vyra. We survived. And we demonstrated something important. Ingenuity and courage can overcome raw power. Humanity has not been forgotten, Kai. You are proof of that truth." Kai smiled. For the first time, he felt something he had never felt before. A sense of purpose that went beyond survival. The $8 gamble had not only bought him a ship, it had awakened a potential that could reshape the galaxy. He looked out at the stars, endless and brilliant, and whispered, "Let them underestimate us. They'll learn." And somewhere in the Xylan expanse, the alien intelligence watched, taking note of one human who refused to bow to fear, who refused to surrender to the odds. One human who reminded them why humans were dangerous and why they should never be ignored. Kyren had survived his first true test. But the galaxy had many more challenges ahead, and he knew one thing with certainty. The adventure was only beginning. Kyren gripped the controls of the massive armored spaceship, his eyes fixed on the swirling patterns of the Xylan expanse. The alien intelligence had fully revealed itself, a fleet of sleek dark vessels, each bristling with energy weapons and shields beyond anything humanity had encountered. "They've gathered," Vera said, calm but alert. "They intend to test humanity directly." Vera pulsed in agreement. "Knowledge is our advantage. Proceed carefully, but decisively." The approach to the asteroid facility was tense. The structure was massive, partially buried in rock, with ancient energy conduits flickering faintly. Kai landed the ship cautiously, shields active. The docking bay opened with a hiss, revealing corridors lined with alien inscriptions. "This is incredible," Kai whispered. "I've never seen anything like it." Vera scanned the facility. It is intact, but fragile. Systems remain operational, though degraded. There may be traps or automated defenses. Kai laughed nervously. Traps? Perfect. I was getting bored. Inside, he discovered chambers filled with alien devices, navigation systems, energy amplifiers, and strange crystals pulsing with unknown energy. Among them were logs detailing interactions with humanity centuries ago, confirming that the Xylan race had once monitored human expansion, predicting potential conflict, and assessing human ingenuity. "They respected humans?" Kai asked. "They feared and valued your unpredictability," Vera replied. "They understood that humans are dangerous, not because of raw power, but because of creativity and resilience." Kai's chest swelled with pride. He grinned, realizing something fundamental. Humans had been underestimated for centuries, and he was living proof of why that was a mistake. Suddenly, alarms blared. The alien vessels had returned, more numerous and aggressive. Kai ran back to the ship, activating every defense system he could think of. "They're here," he said. "Time to show them what humans can do." The first pulse of energy struck the ship, and Kai felt the shields flare. He dodged, weaved, and launched energy decoys to confuse the alien targeting systems. Vera guided him, suggesting maneuvers that utilized the asteroid terrain, forcing the aliens into collisions and miscalculations. "We must understand them before they understand us completely. Then let's go say hello." Navigating the nodes was dangerous. Each pulse of energy seemed designed to probe weaknesses, test reactions. Kai used the ship's energy redirection systems, bouncing pulses back into the empty void. The aliens hesitated, unsure of his intentions. Then, from the shadows of a massive energy cluster, a second alien vessel appeared, faster and more aggressive. This one fired a probe directly at Kai's ship, scanning every system in milliseconds. "They're learning," Vera said. "They are adapting to your tactics." He tapped the console, activating plasma decoys and redirecting the probe into a nearby debris field. The probe disintegrated against an old satellite wreck. The alien ship pulsed aggressively, clearly annoyed. "They don't like that," Kai said. "Good. Let's keep it that way." For hours, Kai played a deadly game of hide-and-seek. Each maneuver tested the ship's limits and his own abilities. Every misstep could have been catastrophic, but the thrill kept him alive. Finally, the alien vessels retreated temporarily, leaving Kai alone among the relics of the Xylan expanse. His ship hummed, systems cooling, shields flickering. "That was intense," Kai said, leaning back. "I didn't just survive, I outsmarted them." "Caution, Kai," Vera warned. "They will return, stronger and more deliberate. They are not your enemies yet, but they are assessing you. The next encounter will test your ingenuity, endurance, and courage." "Perfect. I like tests. Then he accessed the data crystal he had discovered earlier. Among the encrypted logs, he found coordinates to a hidden facility on a nearby asteroid, a possible communication hub or abandoned outpost left by the Xylan race. This is our next stop, he said. Maybe we can learn more before they decide to attack for real. They're scanning us, Vera said calmly. They are curious but cautious. Scanning? They're huge, and we're us. Humans are unpredictable, Vera said. That is why they observe. That is why they test. The alien vessel sent a pulse, a wave of energy that rippled across space. Kai's ship shuddered as shields flared to life, absorbing the pulse. They're testing our defenses, Kai said, gripping the controls. Guess it's our turn. He activated the ship's stealth thrusters, making the vessel vanish from the alien sensors for a brief moment. Then he fired a decoy pulse, mimicking energy output that suggested the ship had fled. The alien vessel paused, analyzing the reading. They're smart, Kai said with a grin, but not smart enough. Vera pulsed softly. You underestimate them at your own risk. This was a challenge, a puzzle, and he loved puzzles. He maneuvered the ship through a dense field of asteroid remnants, using gravity to mask his movements. The alien vessel followed carefully, unable to risk damage from the debris. This ship, it's amazing, Kai whispered. 8 credits, and I'm outsmarting aliens that could probably crush a city with one pulse. Hours passed. Kai learned to anticipate the aliens' moves, using the ship's unique systems to create illusions, divert energy readings, and escape detection. Each successful maneuver increased his confidence, but he couldn't ignore the growing unease. They're not just testing us, Vera said. They are learning. They will adapt. Kai rubbed his eyes, scanning the holographic map. In the distance, a cluster of pulsating energy nodes appeared. The ship's sensors flagged them as ancient relics, old weapons, or perhaps traps left behind by the alien race. Vera, should we investigate? Kai asked. Yes, the AI replied. Information is power. Knowledge is survival. He looked at the stars, endless and beautiful, and whispered, let's hope curiosity is enough. As the ship entered the outer edges of the Xylan expanse, distant shapes began to appear on the sensors. Massive, alien constructs drifting silently through space. Their designs were unlike anything human engineers had ever built, massive and terrifyingly elegant. Kai realized one thing immediately. Humanity had stumbled onto something much larger than itself. Veire's voice cut through his thoughts. Kai, prepare yourself. They will test us. Not immediately, but soon. Kai grinned. Good. I like tests. For the first time in his life, he felt alive. Not just surviving, but truly alive. He had the ship, he had the AI, and now the galaxy was watching. And Kai Ren, ordinary human with an extraordinary gamble, was ready to prove that humans were far from weak. Kai Ren sat at the ship's bridge, staring at the pulsing holographic display of the Xylan expanse. It was a vast stretch of space, dark and silent except for faint energy pulses and the distant glow of alien constructs drifting like ghosts. This place is eerie, Kai muttered, tapping the console. Vera, what are we really walking into? Unknown but intelligent, the AI replied. Its lights pulsed steadily. They have observed humanity before. They understand our patterns. We must proceed carefully, but with courage. Careful is boring. Courage, that's my style. For hours, the ship glided through the expanse. The alien constructs seemed to follow their trajectory silently, appearing on sensors only as faint energy readings. Then, without warning, the first encounter occurred. A massive alien vessel emerged from the void, larger than any human starship, with flowing curves of dark metal that seemed to shimmer. Energy arcs danced across its hull, probing the expanse like a predator testing the waters. It is a weapon, a shield, and a key to humanity's forgotten potential. But even as Kai celebrated, he couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. The data crystal he had found hinted at something far larger. A signal buried deep within the Xylan expanse, a signal that might lead to the alien intelligence that humanity had once fought. A week into his exploration, Kai decided it was time. He activated the ship's deep space engines, aligning the navigation system with the coordinates on the data crystal. The engines roared to life, shaking the massive vessel as it left the abandoned orbital dock. As the ship accelerated, Veyra spoke softly, almost cautiously. Kai, the Xylan expanse is uncharted for a reason. Unknown forces inhabit that region. You must proceed carefully. Kai grinned, eyes fixed on the stars ahead. Careful is boring. Let's see what the galaxy has for us. The journey was tense. Sensor readings flickered with strange energy surges, and for the first time, Kai saw anomalies in the void of space, massive energy fields that distorted light, remnants of battles long past, and strange debris that seemed almost alive. Then it happened. The ship's sensors detected a faint, pulsing signal. A pattern, not random, not natural, something intelligent. Veyra, is that… Yes, the AI confirmed. They are responding. The Xylan intelligence is aware of our presence. One of the abandoned worlds of the darkness is precisely dedicated for deep cracks that had tried to not contain the contrastation. Long lost? He asked, trying to keep his voice steady. They were not destroyed, Veyra said. They are patient, and now they are curious. Kai swallowed hard. The thrill of discovery mingled with the sharp edge of fear. The galaxy was bigger and stranger than he had imagined, and a simple $8 investment had just turned into a galactic gamble. Veyra, he said one night, staring at the stars from the observation deck, if this ship is so powerful, why hasn't anyone tried to use it before? Fear and hubris, the AI replied. Humans are cautious creatures. Many would rather ignore the galaxy's dangers than confront them. Few have the courage to take risks. Kai chuckled. Well, I guess I'm one of the few then. It was that same night that he noticed the first signs of pursuit. Small automated drones appeared on the ship's sensors, moving cautiously, scanning the hull. Veyra, Kai said, tension creeping into his voice. We're not alone. No, the AI responded. We are being observed. Whoever sent these drones knows about the ship's reactivation. They will come to claim it. Kai's mind raced. Corporate agents? Perhaps even rival human factions? It didn't matter. He had the ship, and he had Veyra. That combination gave him an edge few could match. As days passed, the pursuit intensified. Light attacks from small scouting ships became more frequent. Kai learned quickly how to outmaneuver enemies, relying on the ship's advanced systems. He discovered hidden thrusters, energy conduits that allowed for sudden bursts of speed, and cloaking systems that could temporarily hide the ship even from advanced scanners. During one tense encounter, a group of mercenaries tried to trap him in the asteroid belt of Zifron's neighboring system. Using Veyra's guidance, Kai lured them into the belt, then triggered the ship's gravity field generator, which pulled asteroids into the path of the pursuers. The mercenaries barely escaped with their lives. Kai leaned back in the captain's chair, laughing with exhilaration. 8 credits, and I just destroyed a whole squadron of hired guns. Veyra's lights pulsed in what Kai interpreted as approval. You are learning. This ship is more than a vessel. Kai mapped the ship, learned its corridors, and familiarized himself with the weapon systems, shield generators, and energy cores. Some systems required manual calibration, others had security locks that forced Kai to solve complex codes. Every challenge he overcame made the ship feel more alive, like it recognized him as its pilot. Veyra was helpful, but cryptic. This ship remembers battles it never fought. It remembers enemies it has never faced. Trust its instincts, Kai. And trust yourself. One day, as Kai explored the cargo bay, he found something extraordinary. Hidden behind a reinforced wall was a sealed vault, protected by layers of old encryption. He tapped into the control panel, fingers flying over holographic keys. After hours of trial and error, the vault clicked open. Inside were battle logs, star maps, and strange devices Kai could not immediately identify. But one item made him pause. A small data crystal, labeled simply, Coordinates, Xylan Expanse. The AI's lights dimmed slightly. That location contains the remnants of an alien race, the same race humanity once fought during the first interstellar conflict. They were believed extinct. You must exercise caution. Kai's stomach tightened. Alien remnants? Extinct or not, this could mean incredible discoveries or deadly danger. He felt his pulse quicken. Adventure, danger, and knowledge all wrapped into one. Exactly the kind of gamble he thrived on. The ship was learning Kai just as much as he was learning it. During engine tests, he discovered that its plasma shields could absorb immense energy bursts, far beyond any standard human vessel. Its stealth modules allowed the ship to blend almost completely into space, even when under close observation. The AI, which identified itself as Vera, was unlike any machine Kai had ever encountered. It spoke with calm authority, answered questions without hesitation, and occasionally offered guidance that felt almost human. "You are inexperienced," Vera had said earlier, its voice smooth and almost patient. "Yet you are determined." That combination is rare among humans. Kai rubbed his temples. "Thanks, I think." Now, as the artificial dawn of the ship's interior lights shimmered, Kai stood on the bridge, staring at a holographic map of nearby star systems. The sensors had detected nothing unusual yet, but the ship's logs contained coordinates that suggested journeys far beyond known human territory. "Vera," Kai asked, "why was this ship abandoned? Why put something so valuable up for 8 credits? Its lights pulsed softly. Humans feared their own power. This vessel was part of the Sentinel fleet, designed to protect humanity from external threats. After the first interstellar conflict, the fleet was disbanded. Political factions, corporations, and governments could not agree on its use. It was hidden, forgotten, and eventually considered obsolete. Only I remained, dormant, waiting for a human capable of understanding its potential." Kai felt a shiver run down his spine. He had stumbled onto something far larger than himself. A ship built to defend galaxies. An AI that had waited decades for a worthy pilot, and now it was all his. "Potential?" Kai repeated. "So you mean I could—" "Yes," Vera interrupted gently. "You could restore this ship to full operational status. You could explore uncharted systems, access technologies lost for centuries, and, perhaps, alter the balance of power in the galaxy." Kai's grin returned. "Sounds like exactly the kind of adventure I was hoping for." The next few days were a blur of activity. He saw the first signs almost immediately. Small drones moving in the shadows outside the dock, probes scanning for life signs. Kai chuckled. Guess word travels fast when something valuable is up for grabs. He returned to the bridge. The AI's lights pulsed gently. "They will come," it said. "You are not unprepared." Kai tapped a finger against the control panel. "I guess we'll see." He spent the night calibrating systems, learning the ship's quirks, and mapping its interior. And as he worked, he imagined the possibilities. A ship like this, in the right hands, could change everything, not just for him, but for humanity. By dawn, the first signals of pursuit appeared on the ship's sensors. Mercenaries, scavengers, and perhaps corporate agents were on their way. It didn't matter. They underestimated him. They had no idea that an ordinary human with a scrappy mind and an abandoned ship could survive what was coming. Kai climbed to the observation deck and looked out at the vast expanse of space. Stars glittered in 1,000 colors, and distant planets spun silently in orbit. He imagined the adventures ahead, unknown systems, alien encounters, and the secrets of a ship built to defend humanity. 8 credits, he whispered again. 8 credits for a spaceship that might just save the galaxy. And in that moment, Kai realized something important. This wasn't just an investment. This was a chance to prove that humans, ordinary, stubborn, clever humans, were far from weak. The ship hummed beneath his feet, alive and ready. And somewhere deep in the dark of space, something, or someone, was watching. Kai didn't know what was coming, but he knew one thing for sure. The adventure had only just begun. Kairan had spent the first night aboard the abandoned armored spaceship, pacing the corridors, testing the systems, and learning to trust the ship's AI. Purpose? I bought a ship. The AI's tone was neutral, almost amused. Not just a ship, a vessel of potential. one of a fleet once designed to defend humanity from forces you have long forgotten. Long forgotten? Yes, the AI replied. This ship, your ship, was part of the Sentinel fleet, constructed during the final days of the first interstellar conflict. Its capabilities surpass current human technology. Its purpose has been dormant until now. Kai's mind raced. He had grown up hearing stories of the Sentinel fleet, humans who had once fought in a war that nearly destroyed half the galaxy, now a forgotten legend. To hear that the ship he had bought for 8 credits was part of that fleet felt impossible. Okay, Kai said slowly. So, what does it do? The AI's lights pulsed in rhythm with its voice. This vessel is armored beyond standard human engineering. Plasma shielding, energy redirection systems, stealth modules, capable of surviving attacks that would destroy a modern warship, capable of traveling further and faster than any civilian craft. Kai's jaw dropped. Faster than anything? Yes, but it has been dormant for decades. The systems require calibration, the navigation arrays must be aligned, and the energy core is unstable. You must learn to control it. Kai felt a grin spread across his face. This was exactly the kind of risk he loved. Dangerous, complicated, and completely outside the understanding of anyone else on Zephyrin. 9. He spent hours exploring the ship. Hidden compartments contained maintenance tools, old weaponry, encrypted battle logs, and charts of star systems he had never even heard of. Each discovery made the ship feel more alive, more aware, more purposeful. But Kai was also aware he wasn't alone. News of the auction had traveled faster than he thought. Somewhere out there, this $8 ship waited, a ship no one else wanted. A ship with a story no one had told. When he landed on Vargas, 1-2. The atmosphere was thin and bitter. The abandoned orbital dock hung above the planet like a skeleton in the sky, its metal framework rusting and cracked. Most of the docks were silent, dead for decades, but one hangar bay stood open, and inside, Kai saw it. It was massive, bigger than any freighter he had ever seen, longer than the shuttle that had brought him, with angular armored plates that glinted faintly under the dim emergency lights of the dock. The hull was scratched, weathered, and marked with symbols Kai didn't recognize. Its sheer size made it look almost alive, a sleeping beast waiting for someone foolish or brave enough to wake it. Kai's heart raced. Every instinct screamed at him. This was no ordinary ship. This was something more. 8 credits, he muttered to himself. 8 credits for a giant spaceship. He activated the external access panel and stepped into the ship. The interior was dark, coated in dust, and smelled faintly of burnt circuits and old metal. A long corridor stretched before him, lit by intermittent emergency lights that flickered with every step he took. Kai's hand hovered over the control panel at the end of the corridor. He hesitated. The ship had been abandoned for decades. No one knew why. Maybe the auction was right. Maybe it was worthless. He pressed the activation sequence. A low hum filled the corridor. Then the lights flickered and the hum grew louder, vibrating in his chest. Something stirred. System awakening. Identity confirmed. Human. Kai jumped back. The voice was smooth, calm, and distinctly artificial. The ship had an AI. I didn't expect anyone, Kai said, uncertain if he was talking to a computer or something more. I have waited, the AI said, for a human with purpose. $8 for an abandoned armored spaceship. Was it the best investment in the galaxy? Kyren had never been lucky. Born on Zephyrin 9, a mining colony at the very edge of human-controlled space, life had a way of teaching him harsh lessons early. He grew up dodging collapsing tunnels, scraping together enough credits to survive, and learning that in a galaxy full of corporate giants and starfleets, an ordinary human like him had little chance. But Kai had something no one could buy: curiosity. He spent hours in the colony's flickering hololibraries, searching for old star maps, forgotten technology, and rare items no one else noticed. And it was this curiosity that led him to the auction that would change his life. The listing was almost invisible, buried under hundreds of irrelevant items. Old mining drones, damaged hovercarts, a half-broken coffee maker. But one entry caught his attention. Abandoned armored spaceship, $8. 8 credits. That was less than a week's ration of basic food supplies. For anyone else, it was junk. For Kai, it screamed opportunity. The auction details were vague. The ship was located in a remote orbital dock on Vargas. 1. 2. A planet abandoned after the mining boom ended decades ago. The description claimed it was armored, fully operational, minimal crew needed, but included the standard disclaimer, buyer assumes all risks. Condition unknown. Kai knew better than to be afraid of risk. To him, risk was just a puzzle waiting to be solved. He transferred the credits, barely thinking twice. The auction ended, and the ship, his ship now, was his. The journey to Vargas. 1-2 took a small cargo shuttle, cramped and rattling. The shuttle's AI greeted him with a cheerful tone that felt entirely wrong given the circumstances. Welcome, Kai Ren. Estimated arrival, 4 hours, 32 minutes. He stared out at the black void, dotted with faint stars.